All right, let's talk some Zach Wilson. It's an interesting situation. Obviously, the numbers aren't great, but let's be honest, with the situation that they're at, the numbers are never really going to be great with Zach Wilson. So let's just get into the film and talk about kind of the good and bad that we've seen from Wilson. All right, let's start things off with this play. So this is, I think, a good example of just kind of a weird decision by Zach Wilson. And we've seen this a bit where I felt like, everyone keeps saying he needs to take more checkdowns, after that New England game, which it didn't even make sense because there were no checkdowns available. But, even Robert Saleh after the game said he needs to play a lot more, simple, get the easy stuff down. I am firmly in the camp of he needs to be pushing the ball down the field more. From what I've watched, I've seen stuff open down the field that he's just not throwing there, and he needs to get better at it. So on this play, it's zone coverage. It's a cover 2 zone that you're going to see a good amount of the Saints doing throughout the course of any game, really. And, for the Jets, they have a concept that can work against this type of coverage. Watch, Zach Wilson's going to take the snap right here. He's going to look to his left, and at this point, where should you throw this football? You should clearly throw it to the guy who I've circled in yellow. Wilson instead takes the check down, and I just don't know why you would do that. Check down ends up getting dropped regardless, but you had an open player down the field. You got to take those. And again, for me, I want to sit here and say blame the coaching staff. You're not helping this guy out by giving him the decisions that you're, saying what you're going to say, but at the same time, Wilson also has to make the correct read. It goes both ways for sure. Something like this is another odd thing that this is not something I really noticed being an issue of him at BYU at all. It felt like every time he got blitzed, he did a pretty good job of picking it up. But, maybe part of it is he's so elusive that he was able to get around guys in college and now in the NFL. He's just not doing as good of a job because... So basically, the reason why I've circled a center and, number 5 for New Orleans, that's Quan Alexander, a linebacker who is faking as though he's blitzing, is because the center is going to be shifting to the offense's right, which is towards the left side of your screen, meaning that, he's going to be looking at Quan Alexander first. And what this also means, this is very important towards what the left guard and left tackle are going to do. They're both blocking like that. At least that's where they're going to start off looking, because you always block from the inside out. So the guard is going to the next closest guy, tackle is going to the next closest guy. If one of them drops back into coverage, then you simply just go one over. And there is going to be a player who's dropping back into coverage, but it's going to be the guy who's lined up on the left guard, meaning that the left tackle, he's going to still block the player who I'm showing who he's going to block. And for Wilson, he should know this. Wilson should be aware that this is a legitimate possibility, and he should know that if the edge rusher does in fact rush the passer, which of course he's going to do almost certainly, then you have to get rid of the ball quickly, or you have to just bring somebody in who can potentially block. However, Wilson, it looks like his plan was he was just going to try and get around him, but it's hard to get around guys in the NFL. I know you see, oh, he's a big guy, I'll be able to just, make a move and get around him. Doesn't work out that way. So maybe that was his plan, but this is something you have to improve upon if you're Zach Wilson. So there's certainly things on tape you can see that are definitively Zach Wilson's fault, definitively mental mistakes from Zach Wilson that he does have to get better at. Although I did see some, again, every game I see with Zach Wilson, I see some positives. This is another one where I'm pausing it right here because I want you to just look at the formation. I'm not showing you any graphics or anything. What would you realistically think this play could be? There's several things it could be, but one thing you could potentially see is a blitz because you see so many players right over the offensive line. So a blitz seems logical here. Could be like a man coverage blitz. That seems totally possible. It also could be a cover 2 man of some sort. You feel pretty confident it's going to be cover 2 of some kind because there are 2 safeties deep, so that makes sense. This is going to be a cover 2 zone though, which again, that's one of the possibilities that could be here, but what's fascinating about it is one route in particular. This route, it's Braxton Berrios' route, and the reason why this is interesting is because the player who's currently lined up with Berrios is going to actually be rushing the passer. So it's still a cover 2 zone, but you're having a bit of a creative blitz here. So unlike it being a traditional cover 2 zone, which is what I have on the screen, which has 5 players over the middle, only 4 will be over the middle, and Berrios will be completely free right on the line of scrimmage. Also worth noting the situation itself, how important this actual specific play is. This is 4th down, and they have to get to the 28-yard line. So this is a huge play, and Wilson, to his credit, is going to notice this. Watch him the second he sees there's a blitz, you throw to the blitz. He gets to Berrios, and they're able to pick up a 1st down. That's just, that's kind of football 101 a little bit, but that's something that rookie quarterbacks really struggle with and have to learn. And that's kind of why Mac Jones has had such a good rookie season, is he's already figured that stuff out. He's already known like, okay, if there's a blitz, you throw to the blitz, which is also kind of why people sort of say Zach Wilson has the higher upside than someone like Mac Jones, because one of Jones's biggest strengths is he's just already figured out all the stuff that you have to figure out. But for Wilson, you hope he figures out that kind of stuff as quarterbacks can do in the NFL. And then when he can just be a good quarterback at that other stuff, he can do that, the insane off-balance throw type things that he can, we saw him do in college. That's at least the argument. Also, I want to talk about some stuff like this, because this was something that was, well, quite frankly, this was frustrating to watch. And this is something that, you have a young quarterback, and this is just a great example of guys not helping out your young quarterback. And I don't even mean like, okay, you're not getting open for him or whatever. This was like a conscious decision. I believe this is Keelan Cole. It looks like the number is 88. I don't know that for sure, though, so I don't want to crush him because I'm not sure if it's actually him or not. But this is going to be a cover 3 zone, excuse me. And his route is going to get into a gap in coverage, and that is the route right here. And listen, I could be wrong about this. This could end up being just a miscommunication, but definitely this is his route, because the way the concept works for everyone else, they have the same concept on the other side of the field, and the player on the other side of the field is running that route. So I feel 99% sure this is the route that he's supposed to run. This is not a Zach Wilson making a dumb decision. This is on the receiver. And as you see, he's just not going to cut in. And to me, that looks like he doesn't want to get hit over the top. It looks like he's avoiding the contact. I could be wrong. It could have just been a miscommunications. And again, I'm not even sure if I'm reading the number correctly. I think it's 88, but I just can't totally tell. So either way, though, this is frustrating for Wilson. We're just evaluating Wilson here. It's frustrating that he's actually making some good throws and guys are running the wrong routes, on top of the fact that they're not getting open too often. So there's a lot of issues with the Jets, of course, and that's not to take away from what Zach Wilson, the issues Zach Wilson has, because he does have issues in his own right, but to pretend like it's just Zach Wilson is silly. Although now let's go over to just some issues that Zach Wilson had. So first, we're going to talk about this one. It's going to be a zone coverage play. It's just a check down. This isn't a difficult route. And for whatever reason, these are the ones that have given Wilson the most trouble, is these, underneath routes, the ones that are pretty simple, and unfortunately the ones that kind of this Jets offense has relied upon when Zach Wilson hasn't been there, I should say. It's kind of built around being able to hit on these routes, and just haven't been able to do so with Wilson. Watch, Wilson is going to just, there's no other way to phrase it. He's just going to, quite frankly, overthrow this one. That's not ideal. You would rather him be able to hit that one. Also, we can go over to something like this. Again, you're going to see kind of just a bit off there over the middle. The accuracy, it just needs some work. This is one more example where he just bounce passes one. That one was odd, because Braxton Berrios is then, I'll show it again, Braxton Berrios then tries to pick it up and continue running. I don't know if that's going to actually work, but I appreciate the hustle nevertheless. But yeah, that's just one of the weirdest throws I've ever seen. Barely throwing it a couple of yards. I'm not sure if it slipped out of his hand or what, but just wild. So yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.